It is true. Writers set out on a path, often at night. At times, the path meanders. At times, it might as well be a monorail at Disneyland, straight to morning. You pack your bag, you grab your cloak, maybe a basket or not. There could be wolves. There are always wolves. Or a grandma. But we know there is an end, or at least a resting point. At some point, your walk, your path, you stop, and you hope you got somewhere. Somewhere, something that makes the path meaningful. This week, we don't really have any set necessary lessons that we're trying to get to, other than the idea that writing has an expansive world behind it, a world that you are just starting to explore. And if you think about all the possible things you do in writing, or all the possible things you can do in writing, why you write, there are multiple reasons that people would engage in creative writing. Some people want to tell a story. Some people want other people to look at them and say, "You are beautiful." Some people want to create something brand new that is something that others will look at and say, "That's amazing." Or some people want to create something brand new that looks back at other things that were created before and says, "This is a new way to do it." Some people write to get laid. Some people write to make money. Some people write because they're told to write. These different motivations, these different reasons for writing all enter into different worlds. I mean, we could say that you're writing to create art, but that's pretty simplistic when it comes to all the reasons people write. Throughout my life, I've been a writer in many different ways. I've been a teenage angsty writer who was just trying to figure out why nobody loved him, to a memoirist who's trying to figure out why his dad didn't love him or did love him. I've been a science fiction writer, a comic writer. I have been a poet. I've been a member of a writing group where I was highly dedicated to creative writing. And then there's been times, a year, 2 years that go by when I don't even write a poem. I've got the benefit of age there. I've had a lot of different experiences, but I always come back to writing knowing that I am a writer. It's just my interactions with writing change. Here's what I would say. Find a space that you want to explore and jump yourself into it. And within that space, find some community. If you want to create something on the arty side, you want to create new innovative art, find that new innovative community, that community that's pushing the boundaries. If you want to tell stories that create science fiction or fantasy worlds, find that science fiction or fantasy community with whom you can share stories. If you want to be a poet and express yourself through poetry, go find a poet, a community of poets who are learning to express themselves. This week, we're looking at fairy tales, or in particular, Little Red Riding Hood. And I think, Little Red Riding Hood let me show you multiple genres within the reading that we have. But it also allows us to see how that base story, that idea of a little girl walking into the woods to go see her grandma, that base story has so many things that we can do with it. We want to sometimes think, and I am very guilty of this, think that there's nothing else to say. What's the point of creative writing if everybody's been writing for thousands of years before you? What Little Red shows us is that there is always new space. And here, I just want to read a little bit from the Angela Carter's Company of Wolves, and just to think about how she starts with something entirely new and unexpected to tell the Little Red story. One beast, and only one, howls in the woods by night. The wolf is carnivore incarnate, and he's as cunning as he is ferocious. Once he's had a taste of flesh, then nothing else will do. At night, the eyes of wolves shine like candle flames, yellowish, reddish, but that is because the pupils of their eyes fatten on darkness and catch the light from your lantern to flash it back at you, red for danger. If a wolf's eyes reflect only a moonlight, then they gleam a cold, unnatural green, a mineral, a piercing color. If the benighted traveler spies those luminous, terrible sequins stitched suddenly on the black thickets, then he knows he must run, if fear has not struck him stock still. But those eyes are all you will be able to glimpse of the forest assassins as they cluster invisibly around your smell of meat as you go through the wood, unwisely late. They will be like shadows. They will be like wraiths, gray members of a congregation of nightmare. Hark, his long, wavering howl and a rhea of fear made audible. The wolf song is the sound of rending you will suffer. It's in itself a murdering. Carter takes this traditional fairy tale and invents an entire new world, a terrifying world, a world of power and loss, a world of fear and strength. It's an amazing story. And I think if we take that and we compare it to the politically correct tale or the comic or the poem, and we think, what is it that writers do? We begin to see that there's a whole expanse of possibility here. What I want you thinking about this week, and as we are beginning to wrap up this class, is what is the possibility for your writing? And what genres or subgenres and what communities does your writing fall? Why are you writing? Are you writing to hook up? Or are you writing to make up? Are you writing to make money? Are you writing because you are the money? There are multiple reasons that we pursue writing, and it doesn't have to be a solid, single, solitary reason, but it's worth thinking about. What is it you're trying to do when you set out into the woods? When you set out on that path, where are you going? We're going to keep on working. You got a workshop that you're working on right now. And then next week, we're going to start to wrap up this class and start to think about where you go from here. Next week, we're going to think a little bit more about production and how you move from writing in your own little space into writing for a public. Hope you're having a good week. I hope your writing's going well. We'll see you on the boards.